When you're training Slayer, it's very easy to be inefficient. Today I'll show you 7 ways to boost your Slayer XP rate from the standard to an average of over 70k XP per hour with good combat stats. The first way is to build an efficient block and skip list. The rule of thumb is to skip tasks that you can't cannon at all, or you can only kill in a single combat area, regardless of how much money they're going to make you. Your block list should take your Slayer Master's task weightings into account, where the higher weighted they are, the more chance of you getting that Slayer task. You can find the Slayer task weightings on the wiki pages for each of the Slayer Masters, and that means that your block list will change depending on which master you use. For the fastest Slayer XP, it's not recommended to use Kona, so the only 2 Slayer Masters you should be using are Neve or Duradel. Neve's most common Slayer task is actually a Jad task, which is very different to Duradel's most common task, which is Abyssal Demons. So a good block list for Neve or Steve would include monsters like Fire Giants, Black Demons, and Bloodvelds, monsters that are commonly given from Neve, and the ones that you skip are the ones with the lower weightings. The blocks for Duradel are a bit different. Even though Abyssal Demons can be bursted, the XP rates aren't overly good, so it's a good idea to block them since they're the most common task. Hellhounds, Greater Demons, Kraken, Black Demons, and Gargoyles are all tasks that can be done for profit at different bosses, but if you're going for XP, they'll only slow you down. After the blocks, there's a long list of skips that I recommend for Duradel if you're chasing XP. Some people would consider blocking Water Fiends or Iron Dragons, however, because of their super low task weighting, you're far better off skipping them in the long run. Number 2 of the 7 ways to get more Slayer XP is you should be using the enchanted silver bracelets related to Slayer on every single Slayer task. There's 2 Slayer related bracelets, the Expeditious bracelet and the Bracelet of Slaughter, and they both have opposite effects. The Slaughter bracelet extends your Slayer tasks by not counting some of the kills as your task but still giving XP. The Expeditious bracelet shortens your task, where a kill can count as 2 kills of your Slayer assignment. Both of these have a 1 in 5 chance of working, therefore increasing the length or decreasing the length of your Slayer task by 20%. You should be using the extension, so the Bracelets of Slaughter, for tasks that give the highest XP rates, so tasks that are cannonable in multi-combat and tasks that can be bursted or barraged. The shortening effect is great for tasks that aren't worth skipping or blocking, but don't really give the best XP rates. For example, tasks that you can't cannon but are in a single combat area, or for tasks that are generally slower than the ones shown before. This leads me to the next tip of the video, and that's which tasks you should extend and which ones you should unlock from your Slayer Master. Extending tasks, again, should be applied to the ones that give great XP rates, similar to the Bracelet of Slaughter. The only 3 available tasks worth extending are Dust Devils, Necraels, and Ankus, where that extension adds around 100 more monsters to your Slayer task. There's also some tasks that gain more XP per hour. Firstly, Hot Stuff allows you to get Tsar tasks, Jad tasks, and Inferno tasks if you've completed them once. Throughout the fight caves, you get XP for each kill like regular Slayer, however once you kill Jad, you get 25,000 Slayer XP as a bonus. With Zuck in the Inferno, if you beat him on task, you get 100,000 Slayer XP, which is an insane amount if you can be efficient in the Inferno. You should also unlock Stop the Wyvern, which stops you getting the Fossil Island Wyvern tasks, which can take a lot longer than the standard skeletal wyverns. The next way to increase your Slayer XP rate is to aim to unlock Superior Slayer as early as possible. For only 150 points, you can unlock the chance to spawn a higher level and more powerful version of the monster you're fighting. Upon killing the monster, you get access to a very lucrative drop table, with the highest drop being an imbued heart. But also, you get a massive XP reward. With the highest level superior monster, so a Night Beast, killing it gives 6,400 Slayer XP. The chance of any superior monster spawning is 1 in 200, so you're likely to see one every 2 tasks or so. Superior Slayer comes hand in hand with Bursting too, since Dust Devils, Necraels, and Smoke Devils all have superior versions. On top of Superior Slayer, if you're a high level player with a lot of good weaponry and armor, you can unlock the Like a Boss reward, which allows you to get Boss Slayer tasks. Many players choose not to unlock this reward because boss tasks can take a long time to gear for and complete, although upon Upon getting a boss task, you have the choice of how many you want to kill, and the lowest you can set is 3 kills. If you set it to 3, you can easily go and complete a majority of the boss tasks within 5 to 10 minutes. And no matter how many kills you set in the boss task, you'll always get 5,000 Slayer XP after you finish it. Also, you can only be assigned bosses that you have the requirements to access. The 5th tip of this video is to slay when your account is ready. I mentioned that using Neve or Duradel is the best for fast XP, and those Slayer Masters alone have high combat level requirements. If you're really serious about getting the fastest XP rate, you'll definitely need at least Desert Treasure completed, 70 magic for Ice Burst, a Dwarf multi-cannon and money for cannonballs, and 100 combat really helps since you can use Duradel. Duradel assigns longer Slayer tasks, so if you look at it XP wise, you won't be going to get new tasks and banking as often as if you were doing Neve or Steve or Chedlar in Xanaris. For example, when you're getting assigned a Smoke Devil Slayer task, which is actually the highest Slayer XP per hour task in the game, Neve and Steve can only assign up to 185 at a time, where Duradel can assign up to 200. Also, Duradel assigns the good tasks a lot more commonly, and this is because his task list is slightly smaller. Also, the task weightings are a lot higher for the burstable tasks with Duradel, so overall the probability of getting Dust Devils, Necraels, or Smoke Devils is quite a bit higher. Duradel is especially handy if you have Karumja Gloves 4 from the Elite Karumja Diary, and that lets you teleport literally next to Duradel. Number 6, using stat boosting prayers dramatically increases your XP rates. For example, if you use Piety on every single hit that you do, your damage and accuracy will be boosted by around 20%, which goes hand in hand with how much Slayer XP you get per hour. You should definitely learn to prayer flick while you're slaying, which uses no prayer but still keeps your prayers active. Basically, there's 2 ways you can prayer flick. Flicking with every attack, which many players call lazy flicking, and one-tick flicking, which is a bit trickier. You should definitely start off by learning to lazy flick, where you flick on and off your prayer on the tick that you attack, so basically turn it on right as you're starting your attack animation. The same can be done with protection prayers, and subsequently you can lazy flick both of them. You can also set up quick prayers for lazy flicking if you want to flick more than one prayer at once. One tick flicking is where you start with your prayer on, and every game tick, so every 0.6 seconds, you'll double click the prayer. This can be learnt a lot more easily with a 100 BPM metronome, or by using Runelight's inbuilt metronome plugin. This is far more advanced and needs a lot more practice, but once you master it, you can use no prayer points while having a lot of different prayers active. The 7th and final tip on how to increase your Slayer XP rate is to understand some important Slayer mechanics. There's 4 that I'd like to explain. Firstly, double hit cannon spots. When a monster is positioned next to your cannon and at a certain angle, it shoots it twice. So on any cannonable Slayer task, you should be trying to actively move the monsters to these tiles to get the best damage per second from your cannon. Runelight and OS Buddy both have plugins which show these cannon spots, and I highly recommend using them. A small tip with the cannon for lower leveled players: when safe spotting a monster in a single combat area like Neve's Cave, if you have a cannon going, it treats it as multi-combat, attacking all of the monsters in the room as long as you're in a safe spot. The second very important mechanic is stacking monsters for bursting and barraging. Walking back and forth on a corner tile with a lot of monsters aggressive to you, the monsters will gradually stack on top of each other, making your multi-target spells very effective. You can also bring an alt account to aggro and stack the monsters while your main slaying account continuously casts, getting very high XP rates. The next mechanic is you can boost to kill higher level Slayer monsters, but you can't boost to receive a task. With a Wild Pie, you can boost 5 Slayer levels in one single bite, and this can be useful for boosting to get tasks from Duradel, who has a level 50 Slayer requirement to get a task. Boosting can also be useful for monsters like Cerberus, where if you're on a Hellhound Slayer task, you can boost from level 86 to 91, and you're able to damage Cerberus, although you will have to stay boosted throughout the entire fight. The final mechanic is how Slayer XP is distributed. Basically, there's 2 pieces of criteria that you need to meet when gaining Slayer XP. Firstly, whoever does the most damage gets half of the XP for the kill, and whoever does the last hit gets the other half. Usually, you'll just get the entire XP amount, but it's a useful tip for low-level players that want fast XP rates. If you find a friend that you can duo slay with, and they'll let you do the last hit of damage, you'll train a lot faster, and you'll both complete the task faster, since the task count will go down for both players. So that's 7 ways to improve your Slayer XP rate. I'd like to throw in one quick bonus tip. On burstable tasks like Anku's Dust Devils or Necreels, you can use Chinchompers instead, and you'll still end up breaking around even GP wise if you use Grey Chinchompers. These monsters have very low range defense, so if you're already level 99 magic or want to train your range level, this is a cool idea. If you haven't seen my 1 to 99 Slayer guide, I highly recommend watching that if you're new to Slayer, since it breaks down how to train for points, profit, or for AFK training. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.